Hey, I'm Brannon. What day is it today? Friday, the 29th of August, 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, right here on the West Coast. Did I say I'm Brannon Beliso? I am. This is Success Never Sleeps, where we as a collective of business owners, in particular martial arts industry focused, we're just trying to figure out this thing called life, right? We want to be profitable. We want to be free from our work so we can enjoy our lives, take care of our family, our team, our community, give back, all those things. But it's not the little things that matter. It's everything. Everything about your business needs to be worked on. And today we're really going to sink into mindset. And I'll pre-frame all of that in a minute as to why and why I think it's a chronic, I'm going to call it a plague in our industry and most industries. And that is why what? The smaller percentage is profitable. The smaller percentage of most industries make the lion's share of the money because only a small percentage get the value of the mindset. Cool? And we'll talk about that in a moment. So let's begin by thanking our sponsors. We have sponsors. We do. We have Tucson Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, Elsie Accounting, Kin Creative. All companies I work with, all people that I love. And if you want to know more about them, just DM me directly. And I'm happy to share my thoughts. We have It's Time Live Freedom coming up November 8th through 11th, right here in Millbury, California. I think the neat thing about that is it's not a weekend seminar, right? It's not a good social media post where you can say, hey, look at me, I'm Sandra D, right? I'm at this seminar, learning, growing. No, it's 4 days. We cry, we get dirty, we hike in the woods. You know, we work on every aspect of your business. And maybe because I'm trying to help you get unstuck. And maybe it's not systems. Maybe it's not curriculum design. Maybe it's your brand, right? Maybe it's your stinking thinking. Who knows? But in those 4 days, you will discover a path to freedom, the path to create your version of success, not mine, not mine. And what we do is very unique. Only 20 school owners. Mark will put the link in there for you. Get signed up. Be there because you need to be. You don't want to be. You need to be. It's Time Life Freedom. First 10 spots. You can save $200. Enter the code FREEDOM and you're there. Cool. We also have our group mentoring program. We just got off our call and I love it. You know, it's small, it's intimate. We go through what you go through on a daily basis when a student quits, the sadness we feel, the loss, all of it. Everything you go through, we go through. We don't sit in a glass house. We don't hypothesize about what you should do. We are living what you do each and every day. I posted that last weekend, the grind I did. Taught Thursday, taught Friday, set up a cotton candy machine on Saturday, did a black belt test Saturday afternoon. Sunday, taught kickboxing. Boom, went back to the school and did 6 hours of curriculum videos. I grind too when it's needed. That's the thing I understand as I work 1 day a week in the schools now. I understand what it takes. And when it's time to suit up and show up, I'm the first one in line. So think about It's Time Group Mentoring, DM Marco or myself. And let's get aboard. Bob Poole, what's happening, sir? Goals, martial arts. Very cool brand. It's kind of way you honor your mom. And I love that. His mom's goal was to open the chocolate shop, right? The candy thing. And it never came to fruition. But Bob honors his mom every day with goals, martial arts. I would write stories about that, Bob, right? I have the #1 blog at Google search for martial arts. And it's just because I write a blog. That's it. I wrote a new blog and it's gotten a lot of great response. People have reposted it a lot. And I'm glad. I'm glad. So those kinds of stories, Bob, I think are super valuable. So again, as you're coming aboard like Bob, say hello. Tell us who you are. Tell us the name of your school and where you're tuning in from. We always love it when we get people from Switzerland and Canada and Germany and the UK and, of course, across the United States. So let's talk about it. How to create a success mindset. Little reverse engineering. I watched the martial arts industry when they eliminated meditation, right? It didn't make sense. It's cumbersome. Nobody gets it. It's downtime in a class. There was a documentary done on me when I was 14 years old. In one segment, my father says martial arts is 40% physical, 60% mental. And until I have the mental capacity, I will never be a black belt. Wow. And at the time I was 13 or 14. And that stuck with me, right? The mental capacity, write it down. When we talk about cultivating a success mindset, do you have the mental capacity, right? The mental capacity to, number one, understand that if you're not living your version of success today, it's because you suffer from a fixed mindset. Write it down. Fixed mindset. And if you look at the tech industry, which is dominant out here in California, I studied Apple and I still study Apple. Tech industry, if you're not going to embrace change, you're left behind. Tech no longer is 6 months ahead of each other. Tech is changing in real time. Right now, there's a change going on in the tech industry. AI is moving at breakneck speed. So I learned that a great company like Apple, right, who's still relevant today, one of the, top 10 stocks, is that for Apple, it's about change. Now, they don't go out of their wheelhouse. They're really strong, right, with the iPhone and the iPad and the MacBook Pro, and they just go deeper. The changes come in deeper, bettering our product. And I think we as an industry should do that more than just simply grabbing new programs out there. We're revamping our curriculum, Kenpo, which we love. It's what we built our success on. We're revamping it again now, shooting all new curriculum videos, editing. And what is the primary focus? A better learning experience from a white belt into level one. We want white belts to train with level one. Nobody has to leave the class. I'm so fixated, if we talk about fixed mindset for a moment, on that curriculum. Why is our attrition rate so high between 0 and 3 months? I want to go after that and stay after that. And curriculum is the key to that. Not sales, not upgrades, not any of that. So I recognize that right away. That if I want to create my version of success, it all begins with me understanding what my purpose is. And that's all in my mind. Every dream, every thought, every learning, every reality begins where? Here. And until I get it on paper, create actionable steps, and actually take action, that's all it is. I'm famous in my own mind. And I'll liken it to this. There was a guy in our neighborhood who at the San Francisco location, who was obviously an addict of some sort. And this guy walked around the street like he was freaking Bill Gates. He had swag, always a cigarette, always talking crap to all the other homeless drug addicts. But he was like, boom. He was famous in his own mind. But honestly, when I look at that, I've got to go, dude, I don't know if that'd make me happy living on the streets and, panhandling and doing what you do. But in his own mind, which was fixed, he was playing a loop. I shared that in last week, this loop playing over and over and over and over again. Write that down. What loops you find looping in your mind, a thought pattern like a hamster on a wheel, that you believe are holding you back from achieving your version of success, right? Somebody said they're afraid of success. Yeah, I was too. Because with success just came the opportunity to fail harder, to fall further, right? If I live in mediocrity, I'm off the radar. Nobody has to call me out, point fingers, applaud when I fail, right? Or criticize my success. Nobody, right? When I threw my hat in the arena to be a consultant, oh my goodness, the way people came at me. And that's the fear of success. Now it's part of it. Failure is just part of success to me. That's a big one. So let's break it down. Most of your learning happens in childhood. We know that for a fact. So wherever we were traumatized or impacted negatively as a child is when those fixed mindset patterns started to cultivate themselves. And believe me, if they're not addressed, if they're not worked through via therapy, journaling, anything of that nature, guess what? They'll continue to get worse and worse and more solidified and more fixed. 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. I still find myself talking about my trauma of childhood at times. Does it impact my life as much today? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But my commitment, once I understood I suffered from a fixed mindset, it's what was stopping me from really achieving the level of success that I'm experiencing today, emotionally, mentally, physically, spiritually, relationship wise, and financially, would have never happened. Right? It would have never happened. And so once I recognize that fixed mindset, and I liken it to my buddies that still are on 24th and Mission dealing dime bags of weed, and they call themselves OGs, original gangsters, right? I look at them and I just go, oh, gee, I can't believe you're still doing that stuff. And when I come across them and their only thing is, you know, talking about the hood, bro, we're from the hood. It's like, dude, you're 63 and you're talking like a 15-year-old. What's going on there? Right? Muhammad Ali said it so well. If I behave at 50 the way I was when I was 20, I've learned nothing. And that's a prime example, right? The man child who never grows, who never gets older, who constantly lives in that state because whenever they were traumatized, that is when you emotionally stop growing. Not very many 10-year-olds are CEOs of companies. Not very many 10-year-olds have accumulated wealth. And not very many 10-year-olds run successful businesses. So if you have a fixed mindset, most of it is contributed to your childhood trauma or negative impact. That's when you were stunted. That's when your growth stopped emotionally. And make no mistake, emotional intelligence is vital in today's real workplace, the real world. Many Fortune 500 companies are hiring more based upon emotional intelligence than anything. The masters of empathy, the masters of persuasion, the masters of discipline. Those are the people making a lot of money. So, on a small scale, you and your business, right? You wake up every day and you realize it begins and ends with you. Write that down. I know I have a great team and all the rest, but make no mistake, I have no boss. Nobody tells me what to do. I wake up every day and I make it or I break it. Write it down. You can't say it. You got to know it. You got to know that. So, in our meeting before this, that was one of the things. When I do something inappropriate, when most of us do something wrong, when most of us do something negative, and somebody asks us, why'd you do that? What is the most common answer we give them? Anybody? Put it in the comments. What are the 3 words that we all say? 99.9% of the time. Help me. Help me. What is it? What do you guys think? Put it in the comments. I'm going to tell you. I don't know. That's it. Because you don't have the knowledge to take a different action. That loop that's playing in your head that negatively impacts your life or stunts you or paralyzes you is I don't know. So you don't know. So you continue to lean into what you do know, which is creating that fixed mindset, which is creating you never achieving your goals. Never, never, no, never. And it continues to impact your life negatively. Me, don't. I don't have it. No knowledge. You don't have the knowledge to take a different path. You don't have the knowledge to move from a fixed to a growth mindset. You don't have the knowledge, but you don't need the knowledge to begin with. You need the actualization, the discovery of purpose that goes from it being a want to a need. Yeah, well, I want to change my eating habits. No, I need to change my eating habits. Well, yeah, I want to be a millionaire. No, I need to be at a level of wealth to take care of my family. Huge difference. Huge difference. So write that down. Anytime you say, I don't know, I want you to woodshed that. I want you to go down the rabbit hole and write, why is it that I don't want the knowledge to make the real changes in my life in relationship to this? Why is that? What fear is associated with it, right? It's normally a fear of some sort. Some sort. You with me? What does this have to do with getting tenure students? Everything. You are the captain of the ship. You are the leader of the band. You are it. And if this isn't right and this isn't right, then nothing's right, right? They said that in Jerry Maguire, right? His guru. And it's true. But the thing is, and I've watched in our industry, we took out meditation. Going back to that original story a few minutes ago, we took out meditation. We just devalued the mind even more. Even more. But if you do your homework, every top CEO spends millions of dollars on their mindset. Whether that's going to a retreat, right, of some sort, whether that's working with a mental coach. Professional athletes work with mental coaches. They see the value because the body's the body. This is what's the difference. That's why you can take a player like Steph Curry, not an ideal prototype for basketball, and look what he's done. Because this is unlimited. This is limited. What makes the body unlimited, what makes the body do amazing things, like what Steph Curry did in that gold medal round in the Olympics in basketball, is this and this. But if you don't actively invest into your mental learning, you will always suffer from a fixed mindset. Write this down. Your mind is the biggest muscle on your body. Say it. My mind is the biggest muscle on my body. And if I choose to exercise my mind, the potential is unlimited. You with me? Yeah. But again, if we're taking meditation, which was always a big part of martial arts growing up, and it still is in my schools, you take that out. Think about that. That's what separates the martial arts from soccer, baseball, gymnastics, any other child's activity is the life skills, and meditation is part of that. The mind controls the body. The mind must be strong. You think you cultivate that? Me and my papa had that conversation one time where, I said, Papa, we talk about discipline, but we don't actively teach it. He says, well, you do 1,000 kicks, you learn discipline. I said, well, maybe on the surface, I think I have a great kick at that point. But the mental fortitude to go with that can't just be subliminal because I did 1,000 kicks. Can we create a program, a system to align with our martial arts that allows us to cultivate the mind? And that's where I created Kids Love Life Skills. The beautiful thing, and I carry this as an adult, no child is born with confidence, discipline, respect, focus, gratitude, empathy, tolerance. The list goes on and on. The good news for we parents is that it can be taught, it can be practiced, and made habit. Now, where did I apply that from? From my years. I knew that at that time I lacked certain skill sets to be a successful entrepreneur. I lacked a certain skill set to be a level 5 leader. I lacked certain skills to be in a healthy relationship. I lacked those skills. I don't know how to be in a healthy relationship. But for my own personal version of success, I need to be in a successful relationship. Not always easy, but I need it. And grateful I can say I've been married 18 years. I need to be a good father. So I will read the right books. I will get the right knowledge. I will practice it and put it into habit. Hey, what's up, Ken? How you doing, sir? Anaheim Krav Maga. Right, Ken? I still remember. So if you want to move from that fixed mindset to creating a growth mindset, which is really the definition of success, you need to move from want to a need. Want has no urgency. Want has no I need to do this today, right? When a want becomes a need, everything changes. Okay, let's change it for a minute. I want to breathe. Go ahead, stop breathing for a while. I'll wait. It's not a want, is it? It's a need, right? You don't breathe for 3 to 4 minutes, you're brain dead. You need to breathe. So when everything else has that sense of importance, why breathe all the time? Yeah, it doesn't become important until you stop breathing, right? Ever been underwater as a kid at 6, 7 years old, going, blah, 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 right? We all know that. We all know that. So when a want becomes a need, everything changes. And you've got to stop wanting to be successful. You've got to stop wanting to eat healthy. You got to stop wanting to exercise. You got to stop wanting. And when it becomes a need, that sense of urgency, desperation, importance, whatever you want to put on it, value, changes tremendously. That has been vital to my success mindset. When want became a need. So I really want you to work on that. Oh, I really need you to work on that. Take a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle, put want and need. Put the stuff on need, put the stuff on want. Anything in want, I table that. I table it. I table it. I table it. My whole purpose, I center on needs. I need to provide for my family. So I need to make a certain amount of revenue. I need to be healthy, so I work out. Are you with me? Who's with me on that? So that's a big part because, a success mindset is the opposite of a fixed mindset. Classic example in our industry. That doesn't work here. I've tried it. Oh, there's the key thing. Right up there with I don't know is try. You want to develop a success mindset, you have to stop trying. You need to start doing. Empire Strikes Back. Marco corrected me. Wasn't Return of the Jedi. Empire Strikes Back. Luke's trying to lift the X-Wing fighter out of the moat with his Jedi mind thing. Boom! It drops back into the moat. And he goes to Yoda, Yoda, I'm trying. And Yoda said the most profound thing. You either do or you don't. There is no try. Try is that gray area in the middle, right? You're either doing it or you don't do it. This try shit in the middle, it's so detrimental, such a waste of energy, such a distraction. And it's such a rationalized behavior that feeds into the fixed mindset. Well, because if you fail, what can you say? Well, at least I tried. I tried. I really tried. No, you didn't. No, you didn't. You're either doing it or you don't. Either way, you're successful. I'm not going to do this. I don't smoke cigarettes. I don't. That's simple. But easier said than done. Get rid of that. That's another cliche. It's easier said than done. How does that help you create a success mindset? Go. If your only rational answer to me or anybody else or yourself when you look in the mirror as to why you are not successful, and your reply is, well, it's easier said than done. No. If you do it enough times and make it a habit, doing it becomes a lot easier than saying it because you don't waste your energy on that. Because what that leads into, stay with me now, easier said than done, is you become a victim. And the victim mindset will never lead to creating a success mindset. Never, ever, never, ever, ever. I was a victim for many years, born into it, foster home, physical abuse, emotional abuse, sexual abuse, everything. I had every abuse you could imagine. Innocent child, victim of circumstance, as I called it. Well, I could continue to play that loop over and over and over, which I did well into my 30s. I will admit it. Always sabotaging my success, always getting close, always a bridesmaid, never a bride. And I would sabotage it because there was a part of me that was living the victim mindset. And as long as I could be a victim, I never had to be accountable. I never had to be responsible. I never had to really be successful. Marco was sharing that with me. His mom used to say, "Can all be gone tomorrow?" And right, my parents said the same damn thing. And what we learned in that talk, we learned that it's because our parents didn't want us to be disappointed. Well, you know what? You're going to be disappointed. That's part of success, right? They don't want to see us fail. Well, you know what? You're going to fail. It's part of success. Steph Curry analogy. Best three-point shooter, changed the game. I think he makes 43% of his shots, something like that, right? Google it. So he fails more than he succeeds, right? Roughly 57% of the time. If you're not willing to fail, you're not willing to succeed. But what feeds into the victim mindset is failure. So at least I tried. It's easier said than done. That's the mindset that goes with being a victim. Complacency is the enemy. The problem with the victim mindset, it's comfortable. I know what to expect. I've been living that victim mindset since I was born. 11 months in a foster home. I've lived that since I was born. Born. So I played that tape over and over and over. Always got the same damn results, horrible results. But it was familiar. I knew exactly what to expect. I could almost time it out. I would date this girl for 3 months. And because of my dysfunction, because of my victim mindset, boom, it's out. Next, please. And I made sure, talk about sick thinking, I made sure there was somebody in the wings ready to take that person's place at 3 months. This went on for decades, because I suffered from the fixed mindset. I would never have been married for 18 years up to this point if I continued to live that mindset. You with me? Yeah. So if I'm going to get out of the victim mindset, accountability, that fixed mindset, victim, you want to start shifting out of it? You want to make that real change? Hold yourself accountable. Hold yourself accountable. I say this all the time, 90% of what goes wrong in my business, my fault. The other 10% goes wrong in my business, my fault. I would never say to anybody ever again, "You made me do it. It's your fault that I'm this way." Right? My dad used to say that. "Don't make me hit you. I don't want you to freaking hit me. Don't hit me." Right? So that victim mindset is so horrible, debilitating. So accountability, right? No more try. You're going to say do, right? Okay. Habit stacking is another big one that helps me. There's a great book, Atomic Habits. Maybe you could put, I think it's Jim Cleary. I don't know who wrote that, Marco. Maybe you could put that in there for everybody. Real simple. I'm bummed out. I get myself a sleeve of Chips Ahoy cookies. Not 3, a sleeve of Chips Ahoy cookies. I sit down on my low pity pot, my couch, turn on Games of Thrones. Let's eat these damn cookies and watch reruns. Guarantee you, by the time I finish that sleeve and I'm on my 3rd episode of Games of Thrones, I ain't feeling any better. So I stack it with a new habit. Don't think about it. Throw on your shoes. Go walk 3 miles. That's it. And every time you find yourself doing that, over time you replace that negative habit with a positive habit. Because a success mindset is not exact. No way. No way. It's fluid. It's ever changing. Depends what's going on today. If I'm sitting in traffic, I'm not in control of that. I could be a victim or I could be a victor. Anticipate. Have some podcasts ready. Have some snacks. Have my water. Have it, right? That's an example. And I've seen it. I was one time in traffic, ranting and raving, looked over, and this person singing that music that would just, da, da, da. I'm like, huh, Wow. Because every day there are little messages being sent to you. I know, little California kumbaya here. Part of my success mindset is getting out of my own way. And if I look at the different examples and opportunities that are given to me, and sometimes it could be like the worst thing, and it's the greatest opportunity. How many times has something happened to you? You can look back later and say, you know what? That was the best thing that could have happened to me. Getting out of that relationship, right? You don't know it when you're going through the storm. But if I have an umbrella and a raincoat and I'm going through the storm, guess what? It's more manageable. So that mindset, all depends how you look at it, right? All depends how you look at it. One of the greatest stories I love to share, and the power of the mind. Nelson Mandela was in jail for 20 plus years for his political beliefs. Came out to be the president of South Africa. Whoa, whoa. That's unheard of. Has that happened in history anywhere, Marco? And he said in an interview, they could jail my body. They could beat me, right? They tortured him. And he said, but you know what? They couldn't imprison my mind. Wow. Wow. Talk about a success mindset, right? And to come out of jail because he had a purpose. He wanted to end apartheid, right? So he had a purpose bigger than himself. And that, I think, was fundamentally the biggest mindset shift for me. When I stopped being selfish and I learned to be selfless, is when I truly began to find my true self, right? My true self. That newborn baby, we all, those of you who have children, you look at their eyes. That's the truth. Think about it. The first time you looked in Christian's eyes, that's the truth. That's the truth. It's the same thing here. Once I got past the foster homes, the beatings, the abuse, and all that stuff, and I got back to my truer self, I saw my purpose. Service. I love serving people, school owners, my family, my team. I love it. I'm a simple guy. $50 t-shirts, $80 Nikes, right? Converse. I'm pretty simple, but the ability to serve people is my purpose. And if I'm fulfilling that purpose, I'm successful. Is money a byproduct of that? Yes, it is, but it's not the reason. It's not the reason. It's not my version of success. But make no mistake, money is a tool, money is a vehicle. I work to earn money, save money, grow my wealth. That's not negotiable because it's a need. I need to take care of my family. I need this amount of money. I need to take care of my team. We need to generate this amount of revenue. I need to save a retirement. So I need a certain amount of money to accomplish all of that. So it's a need. It's a very clear need because I need to not be a burden to my kids when I'm older. I need not to be homeless when I'm old. That's me. See, so again, wants versus needs. Habit stacking. No more trying, I'm doing. Understanding my purpose. All of these things lead to a success mindset. But until you understand what your version of success is, then you'll never start taking the steps to move from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset and doing all the different things. Oh man, I went on a 3-year hiatus. I remember that I was sick of my lifestyle and everything. So I decided to be celibate for 3 years. And I walked Joshua Tree. I sat in a Zen center and stared at a white wall for hours at a time. I went to different temples. I took retreats. I went to a silent meditation, 2 days of silence, no talking to people that were within 3 feet of me. Silence. Silence. Because I knew that a fixed mindset, that loop playing over and over and over again, that stinking thinking, that was not ever, ever, ever. Because what is insanity? Doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. The results were always the same. I clung to it because it was familiar. The fear of the unknown was greater than the fear of the loop that I was repeating year after year after year. Another story. The suckerfish story, I've blogged about it. It's there at my blog. School of suckerfish in the river sucked onto the rocks. They were taught generation upon generation upon generation. If you don't suck on this rock, you don't stay on this rock, you let go, the current's going to crash you and you're going to die on the rocks, right? Suckerfish finally said, you know what? Write this down. I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's what it takes. When you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, you will make the change. So he didn't know what was going to happen, but he freaking let go. And at first, out of fear, the suckerfish fought the current. And the current was crashing him on the rocks. Then you know what? He let go. Leap of faith. What do I got to lose here? Next thing you know, suckerfish rose to the top of the river and was being taken down the river. Didn't know where he was going, but he was no longer living that loop. That loop. It's the same thing here. Your fear of the unknown is greater than your fear of the current state you live in, day in and day out, week in and week out, month in and month out, year in and year out, that you refuse to make that change. So when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired and your fear that I'm going to be doing this, I'm going to be doing this the rest of my life becomes greater than the fear of the unknown. 30 years old, open the door, take the money, teach the classes. Not bad. 40, 50, 60, 70. Would you like to be 80 years old, simply opening the door, taking the money, and teaching the classes? You won't physically be able to in most cases. So the need of that mindset shift to creating a successful business that works for you versus you working for it, for me, is non-negotiable. It is a need. It is a need. And now at 63, when I go teach, I'm so happy to teach. I love it. Because I only teach 1 day a week because it became a need. The need to secure my family's future, my retirement for me and my wife is a need, not a want. It's a need. Put in the comments. What are some of your big takeaways today? What are your big takeaways? What are you getting from this? Come on. I know it's a little bit unnerving. I know it's overwhelming for people. It was for me. I remember one time, and I share this story, I was lying in the middle of the living room floor with my face against the floor, crying, on my belly, crying. And at that moment, my only visual was, I am so low. I have to hide in the grass so the ants don't pee on me. How low can you be when your only visual is you're hiding in the grass so the ants don't pee on you? That's pretty low. I was below the level of an ant's belly, right? And it's metaphorical, but the breakthroughs from those moments, oh God, I'm so grateful for them. Because it brought me down the path of where I am today. So if you're not living your version of success, and I don't know what that means, right? If you're happy with 100 students year in and year out, you make a decent living, maybe you work a day job. Hey, don't listen to me or anybody else. I say that all the time. Don't listen to me. Don't listen to anyone. Figure it out. You want to be empowered. You want to be happy. Figure out your version of success and then do it. Do it. Don't try. Don't think about it, right? Don't post it on social media. Do the work. Do the real work. Do it. So what do you think? Put in your comments. What are your big takeaways? Again, in our industry, because it's so cerebral, right? I spend money with an ad agency. They get me a student. They come through the door. I do the trial. I sign them up. Dopamine dump, instant gratification. Got a new student, make more money. I renew a new student. Boom, dopamine dump. I post something on social media. I get likes and comments and lots of views. Ooh, dopamine dump, right? Bam. But to sit there and decide, because I can't touch my brain, that investing in this, my mindset, is the key to my freedom, is the key to my success. Truly, when you can see that and you believe it with all your heart, then and only then. How many really rich people you see are miserable? Freaking, how can you be that damn rich and be that damn unhappy? Well, because money's not going to fix your mindset. You'll get the dopamine dump. You go spend money on expensive dinner, go on an expensive vacation. But like somebody said to me, you could change addresses. You can change girlfriends. You can change jobs. But you go everywhere with you. You wake up with you. You have lunch with you. You go to bed with you. Nobody else can live your thoughts but you. Wow, that's a trip, right? But it's not. So I need to be in love with me. Write that down. And I don't mean in some weird narcissistic, I'm talking about loving yourself, warts and all. I can't make the real changes moving from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. I can't make the real changes unless I'm willing to love the parts of me that are fixed. Let's say I live in a victim mindset, right? Poor me. Everything bad happens to me. I live with that. But I'm ashamed of it. So, like a skeleton in the closet, I don't talk about it, right? It only affects me when I'm alone after midnight. And, I want to love that part of me that was the victim. How can I heal it? How can I make it better? I cannot. Love, out of all the different emotions, empathy, jealousy, greed, narcissism, whatever, is the greatest emotion to work from, to heal from, to cultivate from. And real love is unconditional. And if I can love myself, warts and all, I can love those parts of me I don't like that are fixed and move them into a growth mindset, which leads to my success. I know, easier said than done, right? It always is. It's always easier said than done. But I understand that. And my commitment to that is something I will never, ever move away from again. So, what are some of my habits? Journaling. That's a big one. Journaling. I don't like things to live in my mind because they can manifest and, God, turn into something ugly. And that's scary. And here's my example. Have you ever thought about something to be so true about someone or a situation, only to find out you were totally wrong? Raise your hand. We all got that type of story. That's the power of your mind. Something that was a lie, that had no truth whatsoever. You believed it to be truth. We all have a similar story, right? That's an example, but the yin to the yang. I can create a truth that I work towards, my version of success. I can work towards that because every thought, learning, it all starts as a dream. That school you walk around in at some point was just a thought in your mind, was just a dream until you cultivate it, did a business plan, got a lease, right? Right. So I recognize that. Part of my success mindset, I don't believe my own hype. Write it down. Don't believe your own hype. You can pump yourself up, and believe me, every professional athlete will say this. I say this too. I need to be my number one fan. I get it. But that number one fan, me, loves me, warts and all. I'm perfect in my imperfections. I'm perfect in my imperfections. Prayer, meditation, personal reflection, that needs to be a part of it because you're exercising your mind. My mind is the biggest muscle on my body. So I will meditate. For me, it's prayer and meditation. That works well for me. Journaling, again, for the mind, right? Podcasts, things like that feed the biggest muscle on my body, which is my mind. But we're in the world of misinformation and information. So until I'm very clear on what my version of success is, what my purpose is, then I won't be able to seek out the right information, the right podcast, the right book to read, the right way to meditate. None of it comes until I do those things. I know this is a lot to take in. And again, we live in a material world where we'll spend money on programs, consultants, ad agencies, but we spend so little, so little, so little on our personal development, because that means I have to pull back my own covers. That means I have to look at myself, warts and all, and I'm the best at beating myself up. Believe me, nobody beats me up better than me, and move to a place of love and nurturing. Yeah, it's uncomfortable. It's vicious. I'd rather you punch me in the face. That bruise goes away. But to have to pull back my own covers, and then during that time of healing and self-discovery, I have to get up and look in the mirror every day. Oh God, that was a tough time. But what I knew at a heart level, this too shall pass. And if I keep working at this, I'm going to get to the other side, right? Like the door said, break on through to the other side. I know that I would get through it because I knew I did not want to live with the insanity of doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. What does this have to do with getting 10 new students? Everything. You are the leader of the band, right? Leadership by example is a must in a martial arts school. And it attracts people. We've all heard that theory, the law of attraction, the law of abundance. It was a movie, The Secret. It's true. When my friends would say, trouble always follows me. No, you put out really negative energy, dude. Trouble doesn't follow you. Trouble's your company. Trouble's your best friend because you live in this fixed negative mindset of victimhood. The minute you start flowing, that flow state, Google it. People talk about the flow state, right? For me, it's driving in San Francisco and finding a perfect parking in the busiest part of town. Things like that. When you're in that flow state, wealth is attracted to you. Good people, opportunities come to you because you're projecting that energy, right? What you put out, you bring back in. But if all you put out is negativity, victim mindset, all of that, who wants to come train with you? Nobody. Nobody wants to come into your school. Nobody. Be mindful of that. You don't have a manager. You don't have a boss. You don't have anybody telling you what to do. It's up to you. You wake up every day as a business owner. You sink or you swim. Right? And like we said in our last call, instead of saying, I don't know, I'll figure it out. That was a great one. That was a great one. One of my clients was going to do something. His mom said, do you know how to do that? And he says, I don't know. I don't know how to do this. Well, how can you do it? And his reply was, I'll figure it out. I like that. It's proactive, it's action taking, and it's not debilitating. I don't know. What do you do with that? Nothing. But the minute you say, I'll figure it out. And see, that's what manifests when you create a fertile ground of a growth mindset. Hope lives in a growth mindset. Endless possibilities live in a growth mindset. The unlimited potential lives in a growth mindset. I know it's a lot to take in, but I want you to really think about it. Yeah. If I do a seminar on how to get 10 more students, everybody's knocking down my door. I talk about creating a success mindset. It needs to become a need. Your mindset needs to become a need. Your investment in your mindset needs to become a need. I want you to think about it. I work with you every day. I work with myself every day. And I understand I'm my own best friend. I'm my own worst enemy. Who do you want to be today? Create the success mindset. Cool? All right, let's wrap this big dog up, Marco. Let's begin by thanking our sponsors. Yes. Tucson Market Muscles, My Studio, Kids Love Life Skills, LC Accounting, Kin Creative. All people I work with, all people I love. It's time life freedom. You want to create that success mindset? Come join me November 8th through 11th. Here. Don't let it be a want. Don't tell me I want to come. I need to be there. Put the link for that, Marco. We have 10 spots where you can save about $200 off. Make the pilgrimage. Come to this retreat. Spend 4 days with me. It'll change your life. Our It's Time group mentoring, which I'm very proud of. Talk about change. Lots of change as we get our land legs and figure out who we want to be and to best impact our industry. Good group of folks. Hearts in the right place. Schedule a discovery call. Come hang out with us and see if it's a good fit. Cool? Where do you find me? Easy to find me. Success Never Sleeps is on all the major podcast platforms. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, all the rest. Follow me at Instagram. For everything else, go to brannonbeliso.com. I hope you can hear my conviction and passion. Your mind is powerful, but it's also can be very, very, very challenging. Cool? My hope for you is that you invest in your mindset, you create that success mindset and know that it's an ongoing thing. It can never end. My mindset at 63 is different than 53, 43. It's ever changing, but it's always rooted in service. It's always rooted in fulfilling my purpose. And that is just a good day. Cool. All right. I'm Brannon Beliso. This is Success Never Sleeps. Until we talk again, what are you going to go out there and do? Live your best life.